Used to bag work about an apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You two in the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. As you can see, I got a packed house in here tonight with me tonight. So it's definitely going to be a dope topic. I wanted to get as many people in as I could to chop it up about this. I got my man Tone. What's going on, fam?
Ain't nothing, man. Everything's good, brother. Everything is good. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. We got my man DJ Rec 1 on the ones and twos. Eventually going to start spinning while we doing this so we can have the soundtrack already behind us. We going to get that together. What's good, Rec?
Ain't nothing, man. Same old, man. I live for these days.
And it's a good thing, man. These things get me re-energized because I'll be dead when I walk in the house on Thursday.
Yeah.
I got my man Jake out of Boston. What's good, fam?
Yo, what's going on? Thanks for having me back, man. Appreciate it.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I appreciate cats taking time out their busy schedules. It's what my man Bleak Gilliam saying, Mo Better Blues. There's a lot of other places you could be but here. So, I appreciate it, man. Jace, what's good, brother?
Yeah, man. Everything is good.
All right, yes, sir. Now I got my brother Vegas, who I just pulled out of retirement, working on a new project, so I'm excited. Don't shake your head now. Come on.
What's good, yo? What's poppin'?
All right. This week's topic, this came about because if anybody who really knows me knows I'm not a big Music Soul Child fan. And anytime this dude drops a new album or does something, either my man Sen or Nick will get at me like, yo, your man done dropped I think he just dropped the double album 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yo, come on, bro. Like, yo, you don't need another single, let alone a double album. Bro, just stop it. But the crazy thing is I think either T or Nay was scrolling through Pandora or something, and it must have been a Neo Soul channel when like a couple of his joints came on. I was like, yo, this dude has some good songs. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't thoroughly enjoyed or loved the whole music album, but this dude, I can't deny that he's got some dope songs. Half Crazy was dope. The joint Teach Me was dope. He's got some dope songs, and it started having me thinking of people who can come out with good songs, but just maybe not be able to make a complete album, or maybe even people who you feel have the talent to have like 4 or 5 great albums, but they only got one. You know what I mean? So I thought it would be a dope topic for a show. There's certain MCs that are out there that are dope for 16. Like if I see featuring this person, I know they're going to rip it. I know they're going to kill it. But then when it's time to buy a whole album, I'm always like disappointed, looking sideways and stuff. So that's what we chopping up about today. MCs and singers. Maybe the singer's only good for a hook, but shorty can't do a whole song or whatever like that. So that's what we chopping it up about. So you back with us for the first time in a minute. Why don't we get started with you, bro? Who's one of the people, MCs or singers, who you feel can give you a dope 16 or give you a dope single, but the album, I'm not saying the album was whack, but just the album wasn't at the magnitude of what you expected from this artist? Who you got on tap, bro?
You know what? I was at lunch today with one of my homeboys. We was talking about this very thing, man, and the name that came to me was Ludacris. Because Luda is an MC. Don't get it twisted. He has a dope voice. He has lyrics. He can freestyle. He has dope singles. He's always had dope singles in his career. But whenever I heard a new Ludacris album, it didn't really excite me the same way as like, even when T.I. have an album or Scarface has an album. I know it's going to be a multitude of dope tracks on it. Ludacris has dope singles, man, but I don't know if I can really stomach a full Luda album. I'm like, yo, it's a classic, or it's 4.5 out of 5. So I think Ludacris comes to mind, man. He has all the tools of a dope MC, but to me, I can't really flow a full project. I haven't heard a full Ludacris album, track 1 to track 14. I'm like, yo, it's fire all the way through. But he definitely is a dope MC though. So
I feel you because Luda is definitely on my list as one of them dudes who if it's featuring, especially back in like the 2004s, 2005s, the Luda, you need the 16, like the Missy joint, 1 Minute Man. We could go on and on to how many joints that Luda just will rip for the 16, but can't do it for an album. Does anybody else have Luda on their list?
Yeah, he's on my honorable mention.
Nick?
What's going on?
Man, everything is everything. So you had Luda too. So Luda, Nick, me, Rec, and Tony. Oh, and Veg had him too. All right, bet. Now here's the question. Why do you think? Because what we're saying, I agree exactly what Tony's saying. He's an MC. He's got dope lines. Like, what is it? What do you think handicaps Luda from being able to create a whole album? Like, Veg, what do you think?
I think with Ludacris, because I feel the same way about his skill level. I think he's kind of like somebody who will probably be a dope battle rapper, but he's only, usually battle rappers aren't good at making any songs, but he's really only good for certain types of songs, those quirky, you know what I'm saying, like get the club thumping. Like he kind of writes his verses like features, you know what I'm saying. There was one album he had that I thought was kind of his best album. I think it was called Masterpiece or something like that, because I liked a lot that was there, but it was kind of the same thing where it was like, when you're listening to Luda, you're kind of there for the bars more so than, storytelling or some sort of concepts or whatever, because he just kind of made himself such of a character, so to speak. When you look at it, it's kind of like Eminem. It's almost like the reverse Eminem, you know what I'm saying, where you look at all the singles and, Ludacris is this character, you know what I'm saying, with the wild videos and over-exaggerating when he's saying his words and stuff. But then when it comes to the album, there's no substance. There's not enough variety there for you to feel like, you can go through 14 tracks. It's like, that's too damn much, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's kind of how I feel. It's like I was listening to Akinelli's Vagina Diner the other day. Yeah, I was making that Best of Extra P mixtape I did, so I was going through like joints and can't sleep on that. I don't think a lot of people really like. I feel like Extra P really killed the production on that album, but it's kind of like by the time by song 5 or 6, I kind of got tired of Ox, with the Nelly,
Yeah.
Put it in the belly.
Wow. That's really dope for a feature. That was dope on Live at the Barbecue, but by the 8th song, I'm about sick of that style. So, what Veg is saying too, that's kind of how I felt like Ludacris always had, like he said, like that character style. Like his videos where you have a big head or something, like it fit that. Like, so I think that's what it was for me personally. Was like I just didn't feel like I needed to hear Luda over and over and over again. And then too, on top of that, most of these things are gonna come down to the beats too. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was Luda didn't have a solid production crew. I never really even took the time to read the liner notes. I know Organized Noise did that Saturday's joint for him, which was dope, but I don't know if that was the problem. But yeah, that was my thing with Luda. ATL, Nick, that's your city. I know he ain't from there, but he reps there. What do you think Luda's problem was with not being able to put out a complete project?
On top of what y'all said, I think it was the era he came out in. Like, how many classics were coming out on major labels at that time? It was about the big single, the big videos. I can't name too many classics on major labels during that time period. So I think he was a product of the era that he came out in.
All right, that's a good point. What about you, Rhett?
I think the same. I think his singles were bigger than his albums. You look at the videos; those joints was movies.
Yeah.
Even his first video, Fantasy, like he had all of Atlanta out that mug. And the album, it wasn't the best album. It started off tight, but throughout the album, it slowly did one of these. And the next thing you know, you waiting for the next album to drop because everything for that album done ran out. So I just think, like Nick said, the singles and it was too much to do around one particular song or one particular thing, and you can't sustain a career like that. You're gonna have good singles, good albums. Well, not good albums, but good singles. But your albums are gonna suffer because of all the big budgets they was giving out.
Right, that's true. And Tone, you got any other thoughts on why Luda, dope MC, but couldn't make that make a solid album. And the crazy thing about Luda is I'm sitting here looking at it, and this dude had like 8 albums out. You know what I'm saying? Like he's had a discography, and
they were selling too.
Yeah,
multi-platinum.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think, like, just even before I did the research, you could have probably sold me that Luda had more than 5 albums tops. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I mean, because it just seemed like he just always would come out with a single, and a lot of times the singles wouldn't blow me away, and
right.
You know, I think that's what it was. And then just little after little, it was just kind of like, all right, I'm not even checking for him. So, but Tone, did you have any other thoughts on why you think Luda didn't blow?
I think still, to me, it goes back to content and substance. And, you know, he's a fun MC, and he's dope in his own right. But for me, I look at an album like a story, like a book. And at some point, give me all of your life and your story. You know what I'm saying? And you don't really get to know the depths of Luda, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, give me some real story behind your life. Even when I compare like Luda and T.I., like Luda might be a little dope on the mic, maybe, but T.I., like when he had Paper Trail, there were songs on there where I got a chance. I felt like I knew T.I. You know what I'm saying? I knew some of his struggle and his upbringing and things of that nature. And that's what draws you into an artist. And I think that Luda kind of loses us on that. It's like Redman to a degree. Like, okay, you get high, man. You got dope lines. That's cool. But just give me some substance, man. So at the end of the day, he's a dope rapper for singles, and he just really can't give me anything else to keep my attention. And I think that he loses a lot of pure hip hop fans when it comes to that, even though he did try a little bit on Theaters of the Mind. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Production had some dope. He had some dope beats on it. Yeah, that was dope. Yeah. So that was probably my favorite Luda album, but that was really because he was just MCing on there. He still didn't go that deep, but it was just a dope piece of work.
Nick,
that's just kind of my thought.
Nick, what was you about to say?
On top of when he made the Ludacris and T.I. comparison, you got to remember, like, some of these cats ain't got nothing to talk about.
I was thinking that,
like T.I. from the hood, he got the struggles. Ludacris was like a suburban cat, moved to Atlanta, went to college, radio personality. He might not have much to talk about. He was just a pure entertainer.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, like, he just ain't he couldn't give you no too deeper content because he ain't really have nothing to go off of.
That's a dope. That's a dope point. That's a dope point. I'm gonna drop one because I'm sure this person is gonna be on a lot of people's list. I got Meth.
That was my first one.
I see a lot of heads.
That was my first one.
In agreement, but I just felt like, and I was saying this a couple of weeks ago, that just like when Cal dropped, like, yo, I was really anticipating this dude. I think when the Wu first dropped, I mean, you had the Protect Your Neck, but the MOTH man is what really blew. He seemed to be if he's the lead singer, he was Ralph Tresvant. You know, like he was the lead of the group. He was the dude who was out front, and it was like, yo, his album's coming first. This is gonna be crazy, and I just felt crazy let down by Cal. Who else had Meth up here? Just by raise of hands. Okay, Nick, Vague.
He's on my honorary list.
Got a long honorary list. 2 people already been on it.
Yeah, I got about 6-7 people on this joint, man.
Okay, but so, and for me, my thing for why I think Meth really didn't blow is because I really felt like from a production standpoint, we always talk about when cats are in their bag, like how I was like, yo, the Beat Miners on The Shining, that was their time, or Primo 95, that was his time. I felt like the production of Cal just didn't fit Meth at that time, because I feel like if you put Meth over the same beats only built for Cuban Links or Jizz's beats or, you know, Iron Man's, we talking about a totally different, we're not having this conversation right now. We might be. We might.
Yeah, I was about to say, why wouldn't we? Because it ain't no guarantee we're going to get some hot shit.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When I was listening to my Best of Ghost mix in the car, and like, you know, Box in Hand and the Original Flower was like, Meth almost kills everything he's on. The joint battle boxing with Jizza. Like, for me, I'm just saying.
You're absolutely right.
I wasn't in love with the beats from Cal, so I felt like at that point maybe, and even with, and I know a lot of people love it, I'm not a big fan of Old Dirty's album either. I really don't think RZA really took off running until Only Built for Cuban Links. That's when I was like, yo, this dude, like this nigga, and then it just kept following and kept going, and then it kind of came to a halt. So I felt like Meth missed RZA's great years. You know what I mean?
Good point.
But I want to get to you. You got your hand up.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, to the beats, I can't see Meth over all of those beats that Ghost had. Like some of them he could work with, like some of the Ray beats I could see him over, but a lot of that, like RZA kind of crafted beats to the artist. And I think a lot of the production choices fall on the MC. Like, yeah, that's what Meth wanted to rap over.
Right.
He just ain't.
And
he got the Nas-itis. He can't choose beats.
Jake, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna say similar thing. Those beats, I loved it because I like that grimy. The thing I loved about Meth, it sounded like everything he did was in a cold, dark basement all the time. That's where he lived. So those beats sounded like they were pre-36 Chambers, and he's like, nah, that's what I want to do. But if you look at every member of the Wu, they all at some point their style of rhyme elevated. His never did. It always stayed the same. It was always dope, but
him and you God stayed in fucking below.
You got
negative two. Shit.
I don't really consider him a part of the Wu for some reason.
Okay, all right.
He was one of the most recent people in there, and I met him in person. He was a dick. So,
well, you got he
was total.
You'd be a dick too if you was a part of a 9-man crew and you sucked.
If you had the bottom,
you supposed to be
When I used to record, he was at the same studio I was at. He was getting beats from my dude in Boston. He was in town for doing a show or whatever, and he was just doing a little mixtape spot or something. I saw him at the studio. He was like real quick to leave, and then I seen him that night at the show, and I was like, yo, I figured we'd have a little rapport, and he was like, don't talk to me right now, bro. Like, I'm all set. Like, yeah, well, you just, not to be rude, but you're performing for 35 people inside an Irish bar. So, you're not there. But anyway.
Yeah, no, on top of
everybody elevated their style. Meth is still the same. Meth is still exactly the same. And it works again now. It's good again now. But through that 50 Cent Ludacris era, like you're talking about all these major deals and big beats and track masters and all that stuff, this stuff didn't really hang there. Didn't capture anybody.
Greg, you was about to say something?
Yeah, now I agree like with everybody, like you really can't make a good album. But there was one album that surprised me that was actually good. Came out in 2006.
I knew you was gonna go there, yep.
Called 421.
Yep.
The day after.
Yeah, that's his best one.
Lie, because I was just like, man, Meth can't make a good album. Why the hell would I want to hear this? And people kept telling me like, yo, you should hear it. It's actually alright. And I listened to it, and I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was the beats. It's 20 songs on here though.
Oh god.
Or at least 20 tracks. Maybe some skits. But it was actually good. But that's one. And look how many years he's been in the game. So I agree with everybody.
Yeah. And the other thing to me about Meth is why I was saying maybe if it's not all the beats, that Meth is sometimes, I guess, maybe similar to Luda, like what we were saying. Like, I don't know if I want to hear Meth 3 times 12 songs. You know what I mean? I don't know if he can capture me for that long. So even if it was, box in hand. And the thing is I see what you're saying too, Nick, that a lot of those beats were kind of made, but I felt like Meth can fit into anything. Like, he doesn't sound out of place on Shadowbox. He doesn't sound out of place on Flowers. He doesn't sound out of place on Ice Cream or any of those beats. So I feel like he's that type MC that if you give him a beat, he gonna kill it. That Mary J. Blige when she used Hot Sex on the Platter, that shit was whack, but Meth blazed it. Like, you know what I mean? So he's one of this shit was whack. It was whack.
The Mary fans gonna be for your head again, man.
JR about to call you.
But that's my thing with Meth. So I just don't know. And then by the time he got on that third album, like, I was looking at the credits, it was all over the place. He had Yogi,
yeah, that album,
Raj, Mr. Porter, Rock Wild. There was too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, I feel like when you get to that third album and you haven't really made a great album and people feel like you should, then you just panic. It's almost like when you down in the game and you just start jacking up threes because you're not playing smart. Like, I can still win this game. Like, we've all seen teams panic. And I felt like when you look at a roster with like 18 different producers for 19 songs, it's like, dog, you just trying to grab on anything. But again, just like Tone said about Luda, incredible MC. Maybe like Veg said, maybe even in a battle. I mean, hey, he got Joe Buttons punched in the eye for Joe saying he was better. So Just not right here. Brad, who you got up next, bro?
Debating if I'm gonna go forward or backwards. All right, man. So my number 5, man, Lil Kim. Lil Kim, man. Lil Kim in the 90s female aspect, man. She dropped dope verses, dope 16s, but when Big passed, man, I'm sorry, Vegas. When Big passed, her pen went down to the trash, man.
It's because Big was penning.
I don't think she had a pen when Big was alive. I don't think she had a pen.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but for a 16 or a hook or anything, you know, you look to it, you be like, okay, and album be trash. I think the jail time didn't help. I don't think she ever recovered from that, man. So that's my number. That's my number 5.
All the plastic surgeries ain't help either.
Yeah, she out here looking like a fat cat.
Asian woman. She's like an Asian chick.
Yeah, she's not looking too good, man.
And so at the end of the day, it's like, look, if you got a ghostwriter and it's obvious you got a ghostwriter and that ghostwriter dies, then it's like, you could try to emulate it. I give it to her. I like it. And Big was dead by then, so I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if she wrote that, but the Quiet Storm verse was dope.
It was dope. She had her chances to come back after that, but I just don't think she took advantage of it.
I even take it one further. I even like the Put Your Lighters Up song. That joint.
Yeah, that album, honestly, that album was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
It wasn't bad. It just
all right.
So that's my one dud.
Wait a sec, Veg. You got a story?
Yeah, man.
No, I got an argument for that.
What's up?
All right, so she had 4 albums, right? We all know Hardcore.
Yeah, Hardcore. Bella Mafia joint.
Now the Bella Mafia joint was actually alright. It had a couple.
That shit was trash. How many licks? Cisco? No.
If you go.
That joint was horrible, man.
If you go,
the album was trash.
On the album, then
looking like a fake Michael Knight.
It was a couple of joints on here. Magic Stick was dope.
That wasn't even on her album. That was on 50 album.
No, it was on Lil Kim's album.
It's on 50's album too.
It was mainly 50 joint though. It was on Kim's album, but
we know it was a 50 joint, but Hardcore was a Biggie joint. So what are we talking? What we really talking about?
You know, one thing I love about Veg is Veg listens to everything.
He listens to everything.
I'll be the first person to admit I probably ain't heard a Ludacris album past the second one. Like Veg is listening to. I never even heard that Bell Mafia. I seen the cover and I was like, nah, I'm good.
It was alright. I'm not.
It had the Kanye joint on there.
It wasn't whack. It wasn't like great.
So it was lukewarm.
I wanted to say the Notorious K.I.M. The album that was supposed to come out. The version I had like before it came out. That shit was tough. It was like right there with what you call it, but again,
you gonna have to share it, man.
With Hardcore, but
yeah, man.
This is around the time where when albums got bootleg, unlike now, they still put them out. Back then, they redo them.
Scrap the whole shit.
Put out some complete duds. So
I am Nostradamus.
I think a lot played into her albums being weaker over time because she had some joints that were hot that never even made the album because of samples and all types of shit.
Yeah, sample clearance is a bitch.
Yeah, and she was originally trying to be on that Barbie shit, and that's when it went down.
Yeah, I was not feeling that.
All right, no doubt. Jake, what you got up next, bro?
Man, I think I minorly misunderstood what's going on here because I was, as soon as I read the email, I'm thinking of dudes that were like, got deals because of their crew, right? So the first person that came to mind was that.
I was saying it's all good. What you got?
So first person that came to mind was Big Noid.
I knew you were going to say
Big Noid had a killer verses here or there. Then he puts this album on. It's like, what is this? And then
good pick.
Then he sort of fell off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to him at all.
Well, the episodes of A Hustler had some joints. That was made like a glorified EP.
Say, this joint right here.
It's like a glorified EP though.
But it was only an EP.
Yeah.
EP. This had that Recognizing Real Live.
Yeah. That thing's crazy.
Suspect was dope. But yeah, I know what you're saying. That I expect a little bit more from Noid. I did expect a little bit more. than that. Because even this EP, it was like 2 or 3 joints on here. It wasn't as tough as it could be, but 2 or 3 joints that was on here was so dope that I kind of forgave the rest of it. That's the dope thing about hip hop. If you make a dope enough song, I will forgive you for the rest of the shit that's on the album. It's definitely a good pick. Coming off the Infamous, I did think, you know, and then Havoc was in his bag at the time. I did think.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It was the era of, you know, your boys getting on. You know what I mean? It's like you could ride that wave. You could have done a lot more. You should have been on more of the Infamous albums and more, you know, more Mobb Deep out. I don't know. It just sort of came and went. I was really excited. Got the EP and like, okay, and then gone.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I know Noyd was always locked up. Like, if I'm not mistaken,
he stayed in trouble.
Stayed in jail.
Was locked up. So I know a lot of times he that type of homeboy who always in and out of jail. Like, you know what I mean? So that may have been one of the reasons too. Jay, so you got up on that, bro?
First out the gate. Well, first things first, man. The majority of the MCs on my list, man, I equate them to EBC players, man. They good. But no, and I say this, no, hear me out, y'all. Y'all laughing.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yo, anybody can kick a dope 16, but when it's the record business, you're in the business of making dope music, making a good album, it's different. It's different than stepping onto the court, onto the hardwood, and playing under the pressure in the playoffs or the finals. You know what I'm saying? It's like what y'all was saying earlier. Teams panic when you got a certain amount of interest in an individual succeeding. When you're well vested in somebody's success, which leads to like the huge budget with XZ and producer, all these collaborations, and you still miss the mark sometimes. Not the beats may be dope, the MC just may not be able to give you the complete content, or the market just may be shifting at that time. So when you're in the business of making a dope record, there are a lot of things that come into factor. So for me, right at the gate is one of my favorite MCs, actually. Dope on a mixtape circuit, but never had a dope album to me. Dope on a 16 if you get them on a cam, but full album out the gate, I have not been impressed thus far, man. That's fabulous.
He's on my list.
He's
on my list. That's on my list.
He's on my list too.
Oh yes,
he's in my honorable mention.
The soul tapes, all of the soul tape mixtapes are fire.
Yes.
But I have yet to have a complete album where I'm just like, oh, this dude finally did it, and I'm still pulling for the man. I'm still pulling for the man. Fabulous is number 1 for me.
Yeah, I got.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, no doubt.
A thing with him, cause he's another one that suffers from that mainstream, the politics, like where he trying to please everybody. Like he'll have some street records, he gonna have his records for the chicks. He don't just try to lock in and make a classic because he's trying to please too many people.
Yeah.
Now, I agree too, and I think the other thing with Fab, and a lot of the people on my list all came out, because I always try to look at what else is going on, like Jake said, about the climate of music at that time. And a lot of these people, like Luda was 2000, Fab's first joint was 2001. So we're about that era of when you're, like you said, you're trying to please a lot of people. You got a lot of label pressure on you to go on the park, and we still in the MTV era of, you know, all that stuff. So, and because with Fab, I would always say about how nice Fab was from Brooklyn niggas. They'd be like, yo, you gotta hear this dude Fab. He on the Clue tape. See, I never heard Fab on the Clue tape. So the first time I heard Fab was with Little Mo, and I was always like, this tall, corny. Like, then you doing little dumb things like that. I really didn't get put on Fab. I didn't really even pay attention to Fab until I heard Grief. That's
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, he's nice though.
I didn't pay no attention to him.
Fab nice.
Until I heard Breathe. So I mean, I feel like if Just Blaze, because keep in mind, Just Blaze had gave him his single off the Street Dreams album, Can't Let You Go. That was the R&B joint with Little Mo.
Yeah.
He has the climate change. Just Blaze give you your single on 2003, and it's that, and then he hit you with Breathe. The same producer give you Breathe in 2004, 2005. You know, so I think at that 2005 mark, the Streets was trying to come back, kind of creep back into the picture. You know what I mean? Because another one of my people, and we gonna start naming two, because I ain't realized there's so many of us. But another one of my people, or like Rec on Honorable Mention, my young boy Cassidy. That's my young boy. Lived across the street from him. You know what I mean? And it was like the same thing. When his first album came out, the fuck? Like,
the R. Kelly joint.
Oh man.
You don't understand. Like, yo, in Philly, he called the Bull beat. Like, he would battle every night on
Power 99.
Power 99. People would come to our neighborhood, like 10, 12 niggas would walk on our block. We thinking it's beef. They just want to battle Cass. And he would just destroy him. So we heard Hotel, was like, all right. You know, and when we heard, you know, Gets No Better, we was like, all right, like, but it's the same thing, I guess, how we were saying with Fab, how Brooklyn niggas was telling me how dope Fab was. I was telling people how dope Cassidy was, and they calling me like, this your man? Like, this great Philly back. But then, just like Breathe, when you drop I'm a Hustler,
yeah.
Now that was crazy. You know what I mean? And even that album, I know a lot of people didn't like the album. But
it had some joints. It had some joints.
You know what I mean? But
the
whole 2000 thing was about pleasing whatever's in at the time. You know what I mean? We're going through the ringtones and, you know, all of that stuff. So it was a whole nother era. So that's why I think it is important for us to keep in mind, like, what era we're talking about and all those things. Vague, we haven't gotten to you yet. What's one of your peeps?
I got AZ.
On my list.
Yes.
Yep. Made mine.
I think we all in the same.
AZ put out, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4.
About 5 or 6.
6.
He put out 8.
8 albums?
8 different projects.
I'm missing 2 of them then.
Yeah, he put out 8 different projects. None of them shits are really that good.
It's not.
It's just not. Because you know what it is? Like, you don't listen to it. Because I'm even talking about Do or Die. Because my problem with Do or Die was like, damn, Nas is all over this. You know what I'm saying? But when you listen to like the other AZ albums, like, fuck it, I'm gonna listen to them. You'll hear one song that you're like, yeah, this is the shit. This is like the bitch. This is, you know, more money, more murder. And then you'll hear a whole bunch of shit where you just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think with AZ is beats. Because he messed with a lot of dudes. Like 50 Cent will mess with a lot of dudes who are unknown, but they'll have some heat.
Yep.
AZ will mess with these dudes and you'll just be like, yo, man, get off the block, man. You're AZ.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You're part of a classic album. I mean, there's Alchemist, there's Primo, there's so many people who you can hit up, who can give you at least something. And don't get me wrong, like, again, he got some really good songs on each one of these albums, but as a whole, it just isn't great. You know what I'm saying? And he's the type of dude, now he's kind of like the reverse, or a little bit different from Ludacris. He has a lot to talk about, but I don't know if it's him not finding a different flow, because I think that's the problem. We get tired of his flow. He approaches every track
the same way,
exact way, the same tone of voice.
You know, some cat. I hope my boy watch this video, because I said the same thing. AZ rapped the same on every song. He wanted to fight me. I'm like, dude, AZ rapped the same on every track.
That's like me too.
Hold on, exactly. Nick, what was you gonna say?
Method Man's the same way. Yeah. It's just the same approach every time. I mean, it's dope for what it is. But I was gonna say with AZ, and this is a question. I just had this discussion in the barber's chair today. If he didn't have that verse on "Life's a Bitch," would we hold him to the highest standard that we do? Like, if you just heard "Do or Die" by itself and had Nas on, you'd be like, "Wow, this dude's pretty nice." But because of the illest verse, maybe one of the illest verses on Illmatic, one of the illest albums of all time, it's hard to be like, oh yeah, this is dope, you know?
It's funny how one verse can fuck up the game.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's a good question, because the thing is from that verse, my expectations was so high for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even with Do or Die, it was the production. Like, yo, the Pete joints, Gimme, and Rather Unique. Like, yo,
Gimme.
But again, it goes back.
Happy.
But we're creeping out of that era where we started getting those Jay-Z Hard Knock Life half and half albums, where it's like, okay, we gonna get half Buck Wild and Pete, and then we gonna get some other dudes on the other side to try to get us some of this radio. Because again, now we got he had to come with Sugar Hill. You had to have single rhyming over a 70s song.
We got Sugar Hill twice. We had the OG and the remix.
Yeah, so that's when we started coming into them half and half albums. Like, you know, where you listen to that second J album, you like, I was Streets and Watching on here with the Babyface Foxy Brown song. Like, you were lied or whatever. But that is a good question. Tone, what do you think? Do you think we would hold AZ to such a high standard if he didn't have that verse?
Hey man, it's like getting drafted in your first game. You drop 45 points. This dude is official, so I expect him to average 25 a game this whole rookie season. You know what I'm saying? So it does give this.
I love that analogy. That's so perfect.
Free, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that obviously Life's a Bitch and Illmatic put that standard probably a little too high for AZ because he's a dope MC, but he's not a dynamic MC. And what I mean by that is a dynamic MC, like you said, has different flows and different approach to each song. And he's one of the guys like a Melf and like a Luda. They sound the same all the time. So if you rock with their style, it's cool for a track or two. But I don't really want to hear that over 12 tracks. You know what I'm saying? I don't disrespect AZ because I got pieces of a man in the car right now. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny that everybody has the same argument about a lot of these dudes, man. Again, one of the dopest MCs ever. The all is monotone throughout everything.
Every song.
Never hear this complaint about him.
But here's the thing: the monotone of Rod, I think. Well, I know for me at least. Like I was maybe 12 when I heard Eric B. as president. You know what I mean? And it blew me away for what he was doing. You know, so it's almost like by him being the pioneer of almost incorporating a style and making MC. He was the dude who literally. So he and to keep it in a basketball analogy, he was like how they talk about Black Jesus, Earl Monroe, like how he took the playground to the NBA, or how for this generation how Iverson brought. There's no and one without Iverson. There's no NBA TV at Rucker Park without Iverson. Like he brought that style, so we loved Rod for that. So even though Rod was monotone and kind of stayed the same, I mean, it was like there was nobody else like that. Whereas like maybe if Rod would have came out, maybe if Nas started that style first and then Rod came out later with the same discography, we probably wouldn't hold him in the same, you know, magnitude of like, because I know when I heard my melody, I was just sitting there looking like dumbfounded. Like
I was stuck.
It's like 7 minutes and this nigga's still rapping. Like, you know, and then he had them lines like I take 7 MCs, put them in like so quotable. So even though he was monotone, he probably is the most quotable and most in-depth monotone MC ever. So it goes a little deeper than just monotone. There's a difference between Chris Paul dribbling the basketball for 20 seconds and James Harden. Like Chris is probably dribbling for a reason. You know, James is like, you know, there's a difference. So that's my only thing about the Rock with big monotone because he is, but he's the god, so it's kind of hard. I mean, and the music he was putting out. I mean, the beats matched his style. You know, microphone feeding the beat is just as hard as the rhyme. You know, Eric B was present, and that's the problem with a lot of these other MCs. The beats are not as hard as what AZ is spitting. You know, the beats are not as hard as what Meth is spitting. The beats are not as hard as what Luda. Like they're not lined up together. You know what I mean? So
and real quick about Rakim too. Even fast forwarding over to the 18th letter, he still has the depth of his rhymes. When he had the song "Who Is God," you know what I'm saying, and then the album "The Master," he had that song "Waiting for the World to End." And listen to the context, of
content.
I'm like, I just hadn't heard nothing like it personally, so it just takes me back to when I was younger, when I heard Father Leader or Paid in Full. I mean, so he has a monotone style, but the depth of his lyrics is just poetic, man, for me. So I never get tired of listening to Rock.
Not poetic?
Who?
Is AZ not poetic?
I mean, I don't know if he's poetic.
AZ poetic.
Talking about, like, I know.
His content ain't really there.
Jay used to diss him on the low. My man Roots used to run with that Rockefeller crew. He'd be like, man, they be calling him the mozzarella gangster. Like he always some cheddar, mozzarella, or whatever like that. Like, to be honest, in that video for Dead Presidents, like, who didn't belong at that fucking table? AZ. Like, come on, like, let's keep it funky. Like, A is not throwing real money on the Monopoly table.
Well,
like,
Smooth the Hustler was at the table too now.
Oh shit!
Did he roll the blade in?
No, I mean, but again, and it's very hard. There are a few MCs that if the beats aren't crazy, that I can still hear your rhymes. Pharaoh is one of them. He's one of those people who may have a subpar beat, but he's so, I don't know what the word is that
She's done that.
AZ just doesn't do that for me. If the beat doesn't catch me first, your world don't stop. The joint that's on the album is not the original that Swamp Niggas did. The original,
The original, nice.
That thing, that bass line.
You put him on that beat, same rhymes, but on a different track, and it just like my shoulders slump. So it's gotta be the beats have to be head to head with the rhymes. But all right, let's try and get through this. Tone, give me like 2 or 3 people. We'll like chop it up as we go through.
2 or 3 people?
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna go with Joe Budden, man. I actually been.
Kill.
Throwing shots.
Really shots fired. Here's the funny part. I want y'all to look at this. Y'all
you put Joe on your list?
Joe Budden. Just because he wrong don't mean he made great albums.
Yeah, I rock with Joe Budden. I think he can really rap, dog. Real talk. But I can't listen to a Joe Budden album, 12 tracks, and be like, yeah, that's a dope ass project. It's good songs in and out of it. He can rap, but I can't listen to a whole album. This one hurt me right here, man. But I'm gonna say Jadakiss, man.
He's on my list. That's on my list.
Only because my expectations of Kiss was sky high because he's very lyrical. He got one of the dopest voices ever. He got flavor, he got style, but he really can't carry a full album, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like to the point where the Jadakiss have a 5 mic album. He should have one, but he don't.
He should have 2 or 3.
You know
he try to please everybody.
Trying to please everyone. You know what I'm saying? You know the song with Mariah Carey, she's trash, man. I'm gonna go with Cannabis because when I first heard Beats from the East with the Lost Boys, that about to take over the game.
Yeah, that was on that's an old mixtape.
Yeah, some of his Hot 97 freestyles, I like he the next coming to whoever. You know what I'm saying? And then that Can I Bust bullshit dropped, and I was like, well, it's a wrap. And I got one more real quick, man. I hate to say, I'm gonna put Corrupt on here, man.
What?
Corrupt? Yeah, no, I like Corrupt, and I think.
What dope album Corrupt got?
What he got? No, I'm just saying, man. Hey, man, I fuck with Corrupt, man.
He got the streets is a mother. The streets is a mother. Come on now.
It's all right.
He said, nah.
The streets is a mother.
You right? Corrupt those duds, man.
I call shots around here. Come on.
Corrupt those duds. He those duds.
He killed that Dog Pound album. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because it was so amazing on that Dog Pound album, I kind of expected his solo career to be just a little bit dope. Don't get me wrong, he got dope albums, but
he got one dope album, but yeah.
I expected more.
No doubt.
I mean, keep in mind, Corrupt been blazing since '91 from the Chronic. Like we've been like the anticipation.
That's a long time.
Was coming. You talk about him ripping on, Chronic, Doggy Style, Chronic 2001. I mean, his verse on God, what is that beat on Chronic 2001? They got the Bag Lady beat.
Explosive. Explosive.
Yeah,
Explosive.
I feel bad listening to it now, though.
That's the Shaft. That's the Bumpy's Lament sample.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He had a dope joint with Pete Rock. I like that.
Master joint. Yeah,
Master. He did kill that.
Here's the thing: Pete and Corrupt had a song called "Yes Sir."
That's dope.
If y'all never heard it, Google Corrupt "Yes Sir," produced by Pete Rock. Crazy.
They got a video for it. The video is dope.
So again, a lot of this, when we come back to me, it's about those beats. Right? Who you got?
Man, yo, it's funny, man. Memphis Bleak, yo. Yo, I expected so much from that dude because I loved Coming of Age. And to just get dud after dud after dud, and to hear him drop little freestyles here and there, and then the opening joint, where he was like, "I'm serious" at the end. I was like, "Ooh!" And then the album just was like,
Yo, that intro for Hard Knock.
That intro was so. That intro to this day, that intro is like one of the illest intros ever. And I was like, all right, this dude's back in the lab. Jay must have dug in his ass or something, or Dame must have threatened him. That album came out, and it was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I don't know, man. I expected, I was, and y'all know I'm not a huge Jay fan, but I was with Jay on that one. Like, yo, this dude really is one album away if he really focuses, and that shit never fucking came. So Memphis Bleak is on my list.
Nick, you was about to say something?
And I was gonna say the coming of age. That's Jay wrote that. I remember Jay telling me he wrote the rap. He wrote the rap. Gave it to him.
He wrote the rap.
Hold on, tight. Jay wrote that?
Yes. Jay wrote the rap and originally was trying to get Shaheem the Rugged Child.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look.
And he told Bleak, he said, if you can remember that rap, you can get on the album.
Hey, either way, he was the right person for that song.
No doubt.
Because Shaheem wasn't gonna do no justice to that at all. But just based off of that, yo, if Jay wrote it, hey, kudos to Jay. But he gave me a false sense of reality. Then he gave everybody a false sense of hope because I think this kid a banging ass verse. He kills it clearly, and just it's like he said. You come out your rookie year, your first game, you drop 40, and then you end up sitting the bench for the rest of the year, aka Kwame Brown. So that's pretty much what happened. We got a Kwame Brown. We got a dud.
I got a Kwame Brown story if you want.
Oh shit!
I want to hear it.
Hey, I'm with you.
I don't remember Kwame ever dropping shit in the league. I remember Michael Jackson knocked his dick in the dirt in practice before he got in the league. I don't remember him doing
Jackson. Michael
Jordan.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you.
Nah, Michael Jordan got in like
the other thing about Bleak, I think, was that they were trying so hard to make him be in Jay's lane.
That's what I was gonna say. Jay ruined his career with that.
Jay ruined his career.
He really did, because at the end of the day, it's about understanding what lane you're in. Like Jay should have stayed in his lane and said, "Yo, you know what? We're gonna keep the backpackers happy with this nigga." Like
he could have did that.
Coming to Rockefeller for Bleak. And we gonna go, and I'm gonna keep the women and all the other people over here. But they kept trying to make him do choice. My man Roots, who I was just talking about, did that track for him. So do my ladies run this mother?
Oh, he did that joint?
My man Roots did that joint.
Man, I had to buy like 8 copies of that album. I played that shit so much.
Yeah, but again, it's just like, yo, I did a track for Bleak. Listen to it. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a J type track. But that was what they were trying to push him into. So again, it's not knowing your artist, you know what I mean? So I think Beans went through the same thing for a while,
Beans is on my list.
Beans is on my list. You know what I mean? Where it's like with Free was like, look, I'm hood, let me get with Jake One, let me just keep doing this street stuff. But yeah, who else you got, Brad?
My bad. Corey Guns, man. I feel so bad for that dude. I expected a lot early on, hearing a lot of Corey Guns shit, man. The dude was spitting straight bombs, and then he got on Cash Money, and we all know what happens when you get on Cash Money.
Yep.
Rick Ross writes songs about you.
If you don't kiss Birdman, you don't come out.
Yeah, exactly. And my last one, yo, I know the true OGs is going to come looking for me to beat me the fuck up, but LL Cool J. I'm sorry, Kill, I'm sorry.
Whoa,
I'm sorry, Kill.
You said Kill, good album?
Yeah, man.
I heard it a little bit.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen. I put my disclaimer. Okay, that's his one.
So what about Radio, son?
Mr. Smith.
Listen. When Radio came out, what, 83?
84.
Motherfucker, I was 6 years old. So I gotta go back and listen to it. I gotta go back and listen to it. 84, dog. I was 6.
Yo, man, that's the problem, man. Like, yo,
so I gotta go back and listen to
Rock the Bells, yo, Diddy.
Yo, listen. I like certain songs off that album. Like, I give it his shine. I give him his roses. But the only album that I can say is a tight album is the Mama Said album. Like, that's the only album I could be like, yup. Everything else, he got one track here, one there. He may have 2. He may have a Gold Cut Creator or a Bristol Hotel here or something. But
not the whole album.
Yeah, nah.
I'm with you on that.
Bucket him down. Come on, man.
I'll throw a flag on that on the age, right?
All right. Well, we'll have a replay. We get the judges in here, but yo, I'm with you. LL is on my list. All right. So since that's a flag, my last one, and I'm gonna shut up. I know everybody gonna agree with me on this one. Dougie Fresh.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Dougie Fresh, man, is a godfather of hip hop, in my opinion. But the dude can't drop an album to save his life. I have no idea why he was on the D&D project. Like, for what? You got some hitters on that song and on that project. He had no business being on that joint. He'll come in your crib and beatbox the shit out you, but can't drop an album. So Dougie Fresh is on my list, man. He hits them Tom Joyner cruises up. Him and Slick, they get their money, but he ain't dropping no albums. We know that.
The old heads is coming for us.
Oh yeah, hey, look.
You know what? Nah, I mean, you know me. You gotta keep it funky. I mean, the greatest entertainer.
Yeah,
Zero has got some joints, but it's not an album. I'm not putting Dougie Fresh. I'm not putting Dougie Fresh. Me and Jay's going digging Saturday. I ain't putting Dougie Fresh from Maryland, from Waldorf to Waldorf. I ain't putting that album there.
The last joint I got, what's the joint? That's the last anything I've ever gotten out of Dougie Fresh.
Right.
And that was what, 92?
93,
91, 92 with the Eric B for President remix on that joint. Like,
I know what the issue with Dougie Fresh is.
Please tell me, man. Please tell me.
Like when we talk about like how Rakim came out and changed the way dudes rhyme, Dougie Fresh is one of those dudes who was like Curtis Blow and Busy B. You know, they a cold rock the party type rap. That shit died a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't know how to adapt to having lyrical skill, even not to a point where you got to be so deep, but to be songwriters. To them, it's always about rock and
entertaining.
party. You know what I'm saying? And
when it became a business, they got
when rap started going in different lanes, like, you know, if Onyx is out, nobody want to hear Dougie Fresh talking about like, yes, y'all, like, yo, get the fuck out of here. We slam heads and y'all ball heads and shit. We about to fight. Like, it just doesn't.
Yo, I'm laughing because I remember that shit. Yo, I had a bald head. Yo, I cut my shit. I cut my shit smooth the fuck off.
It's like you said, Doug is the world's greatest entertainer, and because of Lottie Dottie and the show 2 of hip hop's biggest songs, they're always gonna be able to do that. But yeah, you're right, Jake. I know you kind of got it mixed up, but who were some of the other people you had on your list?
One thing I just want to say quick about Dougie Fresh was he didn't have material. He was a freestyle dude. He was like Vig said, he's rock the party type of dude. You know, so that's I love comedy. The comedian Don Rickles, his whole act was just dissing the crowd, whatever's in front of him. He didn't have material. He didn't do this. You know, he didn't sit down and write jokes. He just was like, "What's the matter with you? You look like an asshole." Blah blah blah. You know. So anyway, so I had Bleak was next on my list. So I'm gonna go with I'll hit you with 2 quick. One, Capadonna. Capadonna had the illest verse of the year, maybe 2 to 5 years on that. I forget the name of the song. Winter Wars. Yeah.
Don't Be a Menace. Winter Wars was tight. He killed that.
That verse, I play it for dudes in the barbershop now, and they'll go, "Oh my god!" Like young cats. And then also Mad Skills. Skills had these songs that was like, "Whoa, who is this cat?" And then all of a sudden it was like, "This album is very bad. It's very quality, and I can't get amped off it." But he would have, he just had lines. Because back and I talked about this in the last podcast, my whole relationship with hip hop was basically through one college radio station and the monthly Source. So the Source would come out and they'd be like, "Yo, we were at this thing where Mad Skills battled Supernatural." Okay, and they would just put some of his lines in there. He had a line like, he said, my 2 favorite words, Pap Schmear and Virginia. The second one's where I'm from, the first one's how I get in you. You know? Like, blowing mind in the album.
I think the thing is like what Veg said, those freestyle artists. And that's why I felt what Jake was saying with the Rucker, you know, because a lot of times you can get out there and play on the playground and do tricks and all that stuff, but that doesn't translate to the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all the N1 people, to be honest, the only one who I ever thought may have been able to make it in the league was Ayo, the boy out of Philly. You know, and maybe Alamo, God bless the dead, because he was 6'9" with a handle like
no other.
Or,
Ali Mo was a fucking beast.
Yeah, he was a beast. God bless the dead with Alamo with that. But you know, I think that's the thing, that those freestyle writers, they're dope for the battling, but having them like literally now write a song and tell you a story, yeah, that was. And the thing about that album is they had Large Pro on the beats, they had a Young Dilla on the beat, so yeah, Q-Tip. It wasn't like that. Bad Skills album didn't have dope production, but yeah, he just couldn't hang with it. Jace, you got anybody else?
Yeah, man. Beans surprisingly made my list.
Yeah, he's on my list.
And I totally love Beans, man. I love his style, I love his creativity. It's like I always saw him shine the best when he was on a track with somebody else. It's like you always will rise to the occasion, right? Yeah. On the R&B side of things, man, I got Bobby Brown.
Really?
Yo, I'm not listening to no Bobby Brown album beginning cover to cover. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it.
Hold on, we talking. Before,
I don't care.
Like,
talking from when he was a kid to
we talking. Hold on, we talking BW or AW? BW or
so whenever he snorted cocaine,
BW or AW?
Life you want to talk about? I'm not listening to a Bobby Brown album cover to cover, yo. I'm not gonna be able to do it, yo.
Yo, don't be cool. Don't be cool. My prerogative, Roni, and
off on your own. They dope songs.
Yeah, they dope songs. I get them. I get that.
No album, yo. Channel Live, yo. Channel Live, surprisingly, also. I dug Channel Live.
Hakeem and Tuffy
album.
Yeah,
it was kind of like, nah.
Madism had a nigga waiting.
Yeah.
And then Craig Mack too. Craig Mack first out the gate for Bad Boy, yo. No complete album.
You didn't like the first album?
No.
It was cool.
Really?
It was cool.
Wow.
It wasn't.
It had a couple of songs on it, but you know, at that time, there were people that were delivering heat rocks the entire.
You're right. You're right. You would figure.
Album wasn't it, yo. He had a couple.
True. You would figure he would have some bangers.
It was not it though. So that's it for me, man.
I know that Q-Tip Get Down remix was bomb.
Hold up. I
still back that.
I forgot about him. Q-Tip also on the list, yo. Amplified, All the Abstract, and the Renaissance. He had a couple of singles though, but the albums cover to cover
it wasn't working.
Yeah.
I always tell people,
you ain't like
Ron Davis Q-Tip, and you got
Kamal the Abstract.
You got that.
Kamal for real.
You ain't like Purple Bandana Q-Tip, man. Come on.
Nah.
Jonathan Davis.
I feel you. Nick, who's the rest of the people you got, bro?
Man, they took all mine because Jadakiss was on there. Jadakiss, like he got like he's like just a straight up bar type of rapper. No content to me. He just say some slick shit. He gave you why. That's the only song that kind of had some content. I know I'm gonna get murdered for this one, but Big L. Big L is one. Like Big L is one of them artists. He was alive 92 to 99. He was active. Where's the classic album? I hear people online talk about Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous.
It's not a classic.
It's not a classic. I'm sorry. He's one of those cats. Like, you know how we rock with Dilla?
Right.
Then when he passed, you had everybody rocking t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened with Big L. Like when he passed, then everybody's like, yo, Big L, Big L. But when he was here, what was the classic? He had some classic songs, not a classic album.
I think he was the Papoose of his day.
Nah, this guy just
but nice though. But nice.
Papoose of the day.
Because man, Papoose, man.
He like the Allen Iverson now, but he bet like, well, no, if he Papoose.
What I mean is, man, Papoose. People looked at Papoose as like the savior, the same way they looked at Big L. I just don't think Big L had the chance to fulfill it.
I always thought Papoose was whack and shit. I never.
But see, like when you how you just said, how you said that Big L didn't have the chance to fulfill it. He had 7 years.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. The first album came out. The second album, did that shit ever even see the light of day?
But you know, I think a lot of it is
label issues, trying to get on the label.
A lot of it was label.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of it is freestyles that people were going off of. Because if I'm not mistaken, by the time the second album came out, he had already passed.
He had passed.
Right.
That album was on Ruckus.
Right, he really
Ruckus,
had that one album
already.
One of them dudes who like you kind of got to know his mixtape discography, which I don't. to really speak on L. But I do agree with what you're saying, because after, I mean, it's like Kiss said, you know, that rappers get better promotion. So, you know, at the end of the day,
that's some shit too.
We have a lot more love for L once he died. Like, and people won't agree. People try to front, but yo, I was at the radio station from '92 to damn near 2000. Before L died, nobody was calling up their requesting Big L.
That's what I'm saying, man.
None of my 5 DJs was spinning Big L.
Yep.
So then after L died,
a lot of phony people.
Everybody started spinning Big L. So people try to not admit that shit, but yeah, for real, it wasn't this whole Big L festival of love while the dude was alive. But I feel you, Veg. Who you got, man?
I got a couple. I'm gonna just throw out there. I got the Lox as a group.
Yep.
I didn't really like the first album. I thought I was gonna love the second album, and I really didn't. The last album they put out on Rock Nation, I liked that joint. That was the first time I was like, yo, the Lox did a good album. I think the problem with the Lox, not even just as a group, but also as soloists, is they don't make they don't think about the complete record. You know what I'm saying? They'll hold down their bars and their verses, but every hook is not good. They've had some terrible hooks on their albums. I mean, like, the fucking beats would be hot, the verses would be hot, and then the hook would just be some other shit, and you like what the fuck is 3 of y'all? Y'all couldn't come up with it. You know what I'm saying? I also had Beanie Siegel down there. I think Beanie Siegel really only got one hit. Actually, I call it a classic.
Dude.
Nah. The B coming.
The B coming, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
That is the one.
Yeah,
that's the one that
the closest
feels like
got.
A classic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I guess because he was going to jail. You know how sometimes dudes be putting out their best work when they about to get locked
under
up.
pressure. Yeah.
So look out for that new Game album, because that shit probably be crazy.
Oh, he about to go to jail?
He ain't going to jail.
He about to go to jail. Yeah.
Fuck he do?
What hasn't he done? You know?
I don't know. I don't be checking for that dude. Like, I ain't checked for the Game since 2004.
Yo, Game.
Game got
man.
Got some heat.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
Game got some heat.
I ain't say he didn't. I ain't say he didn't. But after the second album, I went to sleep on that nigga.
You need to wake up. He dropped like a couple of joints that I'm close to saying classic.
All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go back and do some homework.
I got Big Crit down. I feel like
I
feel like Crit's mixtapes be the shit.
Classic.
And then when he come out with an album, it just, and I don't know if it was the Def Jam situation or what, but it just felt like something that's on the mixtapes about his music is missing when it comes to the official album release. Mm-hmm. And I had Busta Rhymes down.
Word?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I thought about it, but I said
he's on mine. He's on mine.
Yeah,
yep.
It wasn't until the I always forget it on the fucking show.
I'm glad you said it. I was
joint with the black cover. What's the name of that album again?
Big Bang.
That's the Big
Bang Theory.
Talking about the joint that was on Interscope.
Yeah, the Dr. Dre album.
That was the first time I was like, yo, I think I really like every record on here. Because typically with Busta, he always have a lot of hot records on each album, but he have a lot of skippable shit. Because even the second album, When Disaster Strikes, there's some really dope shit on there, but then there's a lot of shit I skipped.
You think it's because the albums be too long? Because he do be having some long ass fucking albums.
Hell yeah,
the albums are too long.
I got three more. Talib Kweli. I feel like you can't count Black Star. You somewhat can't count Train of Thought. Because
Reflection Eternal.
Reflection Eternal.
Yeah.
But when you start breaking down his albums, I think Eardrum was probably his best joint. That was kind of like him without a partner type situation. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, he puts out albums that I kind of like him initially. But my man put this together when he said how much he didn't like him, that I think makes sense for why I don't always like his albums. He said he's too wordy. And it's true. You know what I'm saying? When he says too wordy, it's like, he's fitting too many words within a bar. So it makes it difficult for fans like us who, a lot of times we want to know the shit and recite it to really follow. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just rambling off. He kind of tweets like that too.
Yeah, he definitely tweets like that.
Yeah. Foxy Brown is one. Like with Lil Kim, I don't think Foxy ever had a good album, to be honest. Like that first album, Get You Home, was hot.
Yeah.
What else?
That was it.
You know what I'm saying?
That was it.
The other albums were whack to me. Besides,
She had
like,
the-
of
she
course,
had
you
the
know,
jump
like,
with
BK
her.
Anthem. I mean,
Yeah, about to say the joint with BK Anthem was. We had a few. Yeah, it ain't no classic.
She had the BK Anthem joint on there and the joint with Sprague Benz, and that was it. That was it.
Basically the same record and shit.
Yeah.
And the last one I had was 50 Cent, because I feel like his first album was dope to me, but I felt like he was chasing that same vibe and that same formula with each album. And it wasn't until maybe the Curtis album where I think he kind of stepped away from that and just made something that felt like the mixtape 50. And it was okay, but 50, like with LL, there's a lot of hits in there. The greatest hits would be the shit. LL, you know what I'm saying? What album are you going to play?
Yeah.
I said knock you out if you're going to listen to something straight through. With 50, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Get Rich or Die
you know
Trying, yeah.
But the greatest hits will be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's who that's mostly who I had. There's some other ones, but I took them all.
And the only people, and it's funny to speak to the thing about the locks too, I think, and I've always said, and I want to eventually do this show too, about the death of the executive producer. Because I think the problem with the locks is that sometimes you need a coach. You know what I mean? There are certain coaches who are like, I don't have to call a timeout. Me and my point guard are here. You know, Luke Olsen was speaking about Mike Bibby at Arizona. Like, we ain't got to call a timeout. Mike know what to do. But then you got other people who don't know what the fuck to do. Timeout call, they come over here in the huddle, play run. I feel like the locks go in the studio and it just be them and they producer and whatever those three come up with. Just because you a dope rap, coming up with a hook is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Anybody who does that, like maybe people probably think, oh, that's the easiest part of the song. Not really. That's the most hardest part of the song is to come up with a hook that's catchy, especially if you're trying to make some boom bap hip hop. You know what I mean? Like that's a very hard thing to be able to do, and maybe the three of them can't do it, which is why certain times you have executive producers. I always say, if it wasn't for Large Professor, not MC Search, we wouldn't have got Illmatic. We wouldn't have got Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Because Nas was just an MC, and those MCs are vague, and I'm sure anybody who rhymes will tell you, back in those days when you just want to rap, you would have rapped over anything. Like just and that beat to make the album. Like you didn't care. And if Large Professor, I always said he could have brodied Illmatic. He could have said, yo, I'm gonna produce this whole album. But he didn't. He took him to Primo, he took him to Mount Vernon, he took him around to meet people to get the best, collection together to make it for him. And that's what you need an executive producer to be able to see the bigger picture. Because most people would just, I know if I found Nas, I'd be like, nah, ain't nobody producing that. All me, bro. I'm getting this. But Large Pro had the vision to kind of see forward, think, and say, nah, this dude is bigger than me. This is the next one, to be able to do that. So I think a lot of times with a lot of that, that's what the executive producer. Everybody got named. I'll double down like Tone on Joe Buttons. I love him as an MC. The only album I actually really like is Move Music 4. But other than that, it's just his beats. I don't think Joe picks beats very well. Usually the beats don't match with it. Who else? I had Kiss. I think again with Kiss, it was that 2000 vibe of I got to try to please everybody. I was listening to the Champions Here mixtape the other day, bonkers, crazy. You know what I mean? But album wise, I almost feel. But you know what? I don't get mad at cats like Fab because they give us the soul tapes. I feel like they feed us. So when Fab makes a whack album, I don't get mad because I ain't checking for the album. I'm checking for the soul tapes. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem because you're right. You got to do songs with Mariah. You got to do songs over here. You got to do songs over there. Now, my R&B folk I got to talk about. Joe. I've never liked this dude at all. I've never liked Joe.
You don't like Joe, man?
I don't like that nigga.
Pathetic.
I like the power song.
Like the joint where he started talking all the things your man won't do. That started. That was the beginning.
Yes. That's the simp anthem of forever.
Simp anthem.
It was just like, yo, fill in the blank. I will do whatever it takes to be your man. Like
that joint was like Marvin's Room back in the day.
Like that joint. It was just fun. You make a best of Joe slow jam tape, yo, it's some bangers on there. You know, like Vague said about the greatest hits. Another dude, Avant, Vegas man who blind. Yo,
he ain't looking in the camera, yo.
Yo,
he ain't looking in the
watching
camera.
the video.
Avant. Yo, man, to this day, I feel like God really made that Avant is blind. But
Oh man.
Avant, same thing. You get a best of Avant slow jam, you're gonna be like, yo, this dude has some bangers, and then you're gonna try and go listen to his albums, and it's gonna be like, it doesn't connect. The dude who started this whole conversation, music, same thing. He's got some dope joints. When music first dropped, I felt like he was trying to be D'Angelo, a touch of jazz, already bit Dilla's whole style, and I just wasn't feeling the whole thing. I like the second album, Just Listen, but again, to me, I feel like he's the opposite of what most people are. He was a bad singer with great beats.
Great production, yeah.
Great production. You know, most of the time, all these other people, and prayerfully nobody took it this way, we're not dissing any of these MCs. Like, every that we named was like, yo, Luda's an MC, messing it. Like, we're not
fans of those guys.
just saying that as a whole, you can't, here's the thing, and then everybody understand this analogy. Everybody's not built to make the entire Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe grandma can do that. You know, maybe Auntie Ames can do that. Everybody is not built to be able to do the turkey, the stuffing, and all of that. You know, it takes a great person to be able to do that. Maybe somebody got to bring the mac and cheese. Maybe somebody got to bring this. So we're not dissing these MCs by any stretch of the words. It's just to be able to put together an album. Like we said, for a lot of these MCs at this time, they weren't able to. Trust and believe, if Fab would have came out in 93, we would be talking about, if all these MCs came out in 93, probably except Meth, because he was there, would have probably been able to put out solid albums. Yeah. You know, would have had the production that we like. They would have been in an era where there was no radio airplay. A war tour was the radio airplay. How MCs was the airplay. It wasn't anything like that. So we wouldn't have gotten these albums from these artists. So again, most of the time, for the majority of these artists, at least in my opinion, we're just getting this because of the time and era in which they came out. Last one I got for me, Ashanti. Maybe I was only Ashanti fan up here, you know what I mean? But Shorty was dope on the hook. Dope on a song here and there, but her albums, nah, just nope.
I'm a fan, just not of her albums.
Exactly.
Her singing.
That's about
I'm looking. I'm old man looking like. I'm looking.
Y'all are there, fool. Y'all are there.
Watch that Instagram.
That's it. Nah, I feel you. But yo,
one more. Snoop Dogg. I know he got Doggy Style, but outside of Doggy Style, what does he got?
But then he doesn't count though. He doesn't count because that is an album. That is a complete album. If you're counting that, you can't say that.
Well, we said LL got Mama Said Knock You Out.
False start on both of those.
False start.
No, you right. He got. You right. No, he right. Because he do have Doggy Style.
9 times out of 10, don't like me. Y'all have not heard every Snoop album. Vegas had.
I haven't. I heard Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is pretty dope.
I'll tell you, the blue carpet treatment was dope.
Sir.
That was tough.
Yeah, the blue carpet treatment.
That was tough. I heard that in Sue's Rendezvous.
Yeah.
So that's a dope Snoop album, Blue Carpet?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like 2008.
Yes. Yeah, 2007, 2008, 2006 to 2008, somewhere in that time frame. Dope album.
Yeah.
Dope album. Dope.
So I gotta take that back. Do it again for me. Yeah. I fucked up on that one.
All right, no doubt. Let's get the rundown from everybody. Stone got a dope website. Give them all your information, bro, where they can check out your writing and everything you're doing, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Just check out enterthedome.com, man. Just www.enterthedome.com, man. Check it out.
All right, no doubt. Wish all your stuff on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's Enter the Dome for Twitter. And of course, my Facebook got a lot of good hip hop joints on my Facebook. It's just Tony Haynes. You know what I'm saying? You'll see all the Dome stuff up there, what have you.
All right, spell Into the Dome. You want some Into the Stage type thing. I don't want them spelling it wrong.
It's ENTRDADOME.
All right. Just want to get it right. You know, people gonna be spelling.
Hold up, man. You said ENTEA?
It's ENTERDADOME.
Into the state, into the dome. Got it.
Dome, yeah.
I ain't want them putting THE. So
yeah, it's not the.
up, bro.
Beat models, baby.
Give them all your stuff, Brett.
Foundation mixtape is SoundCloud. It's SoundCloud /JRec1. Twitter is DJRec1, and Instagram is Worldwide Rec1.
No doubt. Jay, give them all your stuff, and if they in the Boston area, where they can come get a fresh cup.
Yeah. My shop is the Chop Shop. Put it up there real quick.
Yes, sir.
I got that Champion Spark Plug logo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's the chopshop508.com, and then for me is Jake Cuts Fresh, Jake_Cuts_Fresh. That's on all social platforms, and then I got the website jakecutsfresh.com. Not only do I cut, but I also try to put out educational, motivational videos. Sort of how I ran into Kill was just I like to help a lot of people, so you can check it all out there.
All right, no doubt. Jay, give them everything, good brother.
Hey, it's JERIKTYLER on Twitter, and on IG is JTyler0801.
All right, no doubt. Nick?
Twitter, only one way to win, 79. Win is WYNN. Instagram, 14 Karat Gold Slum Computer Wizard.
Oh, that's you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. That's a great Instagram follow, man. I'm telling my people to follow you. That's funny. Okay.
Oh, thanks, my man.
Yeah.
Yo, the crazy thing about Nick, you be sending me shit, and I just be like, yo, I don't even.
What the fuck is that?
The rude shirts. I was just like, no, thank you. I don't want to play. I'm taking my ball. Go. You said, yo, you be stuff. I'm like, yo, Nick, listen to
everything.
Yeah. I don't know what you even talking about. Like, but yeah, give him all your stuff, bro. Vic.
You can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. That's Twitter and Instagram. And you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, on SoundCloud.com/Hip Hop Now Podcast.
Cool. And real quick, I'm gonna go on a quick 2-minute tangent. Beg always sends me something to piss me off. I'm not gonna go into that because we're gonna do a whole nother show about that. I'm even debating if I want to even. I'm not even gonna give them any props for saying their names. What I am going to tell for people watching is that a lot of sites, a lot of places that used to be about hip hop aren't anymore. You know what I mean? They got, I don't know who I don't know if they got roaches writing for them. I don't know if they just putting out dumb shit to get clicks or whatever like that. But one of the things that, you know, and it's because I was a journalism communication major that probably irks me a little bit more. But we've got to find better dope content to get our hip hop from, you know. One of the reasons I always listen to Vegas podcasts is because a lot of the sites I used to go to, I don't trust their opinions anymore. Because I feel like these blogs and these sites are just like how the radio was when they started to change. They started to stop playing hip hop. Something that Eric Sermon said on the Drink Champs really stood out to me. He said, what fucks me up is that the same DJs that was on Hot 97 that was spinning our shit act like they don't know us no. Like, yo, like we like, yo, the same fucking DJs who used to come to our shows and used to have us up on 97. Now I can't get a phone call. I can't get you to play our shit. You know, so a lot of these blogs, and again, I ain't naming names, but the big hip hop blogs, some of them are, you go check out their content, but we got to support more podcasts like mine, like Vegas's, like Tone's website. We got a lot of good people out here that got dope content and is trying to get it out there. And we just got to really start supporting that. That's my little tangent right there. Also, every week I'm going to start doing a hip hop book of the week. This book, Ain't No Half Stepping. By my man, Nice Gray from X Clan. This is a very dope book about the Latin Quarters. For cats who don't know, the Latin Quarters was a big hip hop spot back in the 80s. I can't tell you how dope this book is. I mean, with the pictures, you got MC Search. I mean, the pictures alone are just crazy, you know, and they're telling you so many stories. When I tell you how dope this book is, I can't even get into it. I'm 43, and I mean, I learned so much from reading this book. I mean, TJ Swan, Bismarck. So again, dope book to go support. We gotta read. We gotta read. We gotta read. You know what I mean? Back at Morgan with Strictly Hip Hop, had this Strictly Hip Hop book list. You know, so we gotta start supporting these books and stuff like that. So again, y'all already know what it is with me. Kill 889. We'll make beats for food. I'm gonna check y'all next week, man.
Peace.
Peace.